This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look. Welcome to episode 142 of the Slow Wardrobe podcast. My name is Linda. In this episode, as per usual, I'll give you an update on my knitting, an update on our impending move to France, and then we dive into Layercake with probably the last ever pre-order for the brand new Layercake Striders. But first, knitting. I wish I could show you more progress than I can, but it's getting busier. It's getting all a little bit more real, even though when you sell your house in the UK, you don't actually know until the point of exchange of contracts that it's going to go ahead. And that tends to be mere days before you complete and exchange keys, etc. So, but more about that in a minute. You can tell I'm kind of full of beans about this part at the moment, but that doesn't mean that I haven't done any knitting, just not as much as you normally see me do in a 2-week period. First of all, I'll start with the smallest project. The socks that I had started last time, you can see I've gotten a little bit further on sock number 1. I think I only had about like 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches last time. And I'll show you the sock blank again, because it's always so magical to see how the design of a sock blank ends up knitting up into the stitches going round and round the leg. So I love the sock blank. I really love the knitted fabric as well, the colors and the way the colors kind of distribute. I love it. I think it's gorgeous. So very happy with that, but not much progress. And I still haven't decided who these socks are going to be for me or for my husband. I really only once I get to the toe section have to decide that. So the jury is still out. He would love them, I'm sure. We'll see. So a little bit of progress on the socks. Oh, this was a sock blank that was dyed by Sharon from 5 Moons Yarns. 5 Moons Yarns has disappeared off the face of the earth, and Sharon decided to disappear with it. So I'm pretty sure she's fine, but she's not in communication anymore. The other project is my linen top, and the progress there is a little bit better. I was, I think, about here on the back panel 2 weeks ago, so I finished the section up to where the shoulder seam drops down, and have started decreasing stitches gradually up at an angle to reach the back of the neck, and then I'll have some stitch decreases here in the middle as well to make it a little bit of a neck shape. And as you can see, some of the stitches that I was reverse stockinette knitting here to create a rolled edge, there was 7 stitches there. 3 of those I've put on stitch holder, and the other 4 I'm carrying with me along this diagonal line. I will do the same with the front panel, so then I have 2 rows of 4 stitches. I will then use half a stitch to mattress stitch them together. So that gives me then a block of 7 stitches going up over the top of the shoulder, depending on how that looks. Because if I pull those stitches out, because of course they're curled up at the moment, if I pull them out and then stitch them together, I may end up with a wide band of that mustard color here, whereas at the sleeve I just have that little rolled up edge. So I may prefer the rolled up edge, and if I don't like what it looks like when I peel them back and sew them together, then I will not peel them back and sew them together in that kind of curled up format, for want of a better description, and then they'll join the stitches again, or they will form the stitches again that will go around the neckline, both front and back. So more about that decision later, because I'll take that decision when I get to it, and I will share with you how that's going to look. I just realized that at this rate, and knitting as slowly as I am at the moment, I might not finish this top until I'm in France. We'll see. At the moment, my idea is to keep making podcasts when I'm in France. I don't know whether I'm going to stick on the same schedule. I will have to decide that closer to the time, but I will at least be able to show you the house that we'll be moving into, if everything is going according to plan, and share a little bit of the environment there with you, and keep sharing my knitting at least, if not layer cake. So that's the idea at the moment. That's as far as I got. I have a couple of ideas to show you that were suggested by a lovely long-time customer called Fiona, who's also a knitting enthusiast. And she recently bought some of my linen 3-ply yarn to hold double and knit a top that I think has just started a knit along. I just need to double check what the name of the top is, plus 2 other tops that Fiona suggested as well, and I'll be able to show you pictures. So let me first show you the first top while I grab the names and the descriptions of the other 2 as well. So the top that you're looking at here is called Reflection by Yumiko Alexander, designer on Ravelry, and you can see that by holding 2 yarns together and varying the colors of those yarns, she's created the same kind of idea that I have with my gradient sets, a gradient of colors, and she does that in a couple of different color variations, of course, to show the different effects. But the most important thing is that it's a very easy top to knit, and it can be knitted with 2 strands of my linen yarn held together and created in a very similar fashion. So that's the first one. And then Fiona sent me 2 others. One is called the Very Light Super Basic Tee by Oh What a Knit, and you'll see a picture of it here, and that is a t-shirt in a very basic shape, as you can see, knitted on very small needles, like 2.5 millimeter, I think, if I'm correct. And that, of course, could also be knitted with my 3-ply. I think the t-shirt in the picture, or the tee in the picture, is knitted in silk, but of course it could very easily be replicated in linen, but then on smaller needles than the one that I'm using. This is 2.75 here, and then you get a relatively open knit if you knit as loosely as I do. So worth experimenting with different needle sizes to ensure that you get the right gauge if you're interested to knit that simple tee. And the third top is called the Shake Rag Top by Amy Christoffers. I hope you can see it in photographs, but I think it's sections of smaller stitches and then in between sections of bigger stitches. I haven't looked into the detail of how that's achieved, but that again would be a top that could be knitted with my linen held double, so you can play with colors again. So thanks again, Fiona, for those suggestions. I think those are really, really nice suggestions for tops to knit with my linen. And all 3 of these tops are available on Ravelry, but hopefully with the names I've given you, if you're not into Ravelry, you'll be able to find them on other platforms as well. So that's it for my knitting this time around. Let's talk a little bit about the progress of the move to France. So yeah, there has not been any updates from the solicitors. We had the buyer's building survey done of our house, which only kicked up a couple of minor issues. The surveyor said, yeah, basically it's a thumbs up for me. So hopefully he's fed that back to the buyers, and we haven't heard any negative peeps from them. So I think they are as enthusiastic as they already were. So we've also been working on selecting removal company, and out of the 5 removal companies that we contacted, the last one that we only saw earlier this week, and we think it ends up sticking up head and shoulders above the others. So that's what I think we're going to go with. They're not the cheapest, but I think they're by far the best. So I will, of course, share my experience as we go along, but that's another thing that, another step closer. Sorted out all the mess in the garage. I have started digging through 12 years of history here at the studio, which of course I'm going to give up one way or another. Lots of stuff to throw out, and hopefully if a buyer presents itself for the business, then either the business will remain here if it's a local person, or the business may move. We'll have to wait and see. It's only been 2 weeks ago that I first started offering the business for sale, so I need to give that a little bit longer to see if any possible candidates present themselves. So again, I'll keep you posted about that as well. But by the time the next podcast is due, which is in the middle of July, by then I should probably have a good idea about whether or not it's realistic to expect that I'm going to sell the business or not. And if I don't, then I will keep folding it, for want of a better word. So selling out of things and selling fabrics to maybe to other companies. We'll have to see how that all goes. And again, I'll keep you posted every step of the way. Right now, the plan is still to keep the website open for both ready to ship as well as made to order layer cakes to be shipped to you. And the idea is to keep that website open until the end of August for the made to order. I may have to pull that back a little bit to the middle of August. We'll have to see how we go, depending on how busy it gets and when our move will actually take place. But the idea right now is to keep the made to order facility open on the website until the middle or end of August. Having said that, if you already have an idea of what you would like to order for a made to order layer cake, or more than one, then if you can place your order sooner rather than later, then that would be ideal, because it would help us schedule all the production. Because if we do get a big wave of orders, then we'll end up struggling. So far we've been able to stay on top of things, so that's all good so far. But the other thing about that is that if you have any questions, then of course shoot me a message about either ready to ship layer cakes or any made to order. I will keep adding more fabrics for sale to the website. Any remnants that we have as we run out of rolls of fabric, I will keep posting as well, so keep an eye on those. And just before we go into the show of the new Strider trousers, let me repeat as well that the offer for the cocoons is still going as well. 20% of 2 cocoons, 35% of 3 cocoons, and if you buy 4 or more cocoons, you get a full 50% of the total price of your cocoons. So as good an offer as I can make it. I hope you'll have another look at what's left. Of course, we're selling out of colors and sizes, so I apologize, but can't do anything about that, of course. So, having gone through all the points that I think that I wanted to make, let's dive into Layercake and have a look at the brand new Layercake Striders. Enjoy. Striders. a name for a new garment because it's a trouser that looks like a skirt. Striders because you can't take steps big enough. These will not restrict your movements in any way. They are the typical elasticated waists that you're used to from us. And then with very, very simple lines, they've got this narrow panel at the top so that the pleats, the walking pleats, those inverted pleats that are on the front, are not starting right at the waist, adding extra bulk where you don't need it, but they're added a couple of inches down at the bottom of that panel, adding a little bit of interest, but keeping the look of the trouser very plain. And of course, where those pleats now start, from that point onwards, they can just hang down, so they never fold open until further down. But at the top, they pleat nicely and they hang very nicely. No pleats at the back. As you can see, it's just that plain panel and then very plain back, so you don't end up sitting on bunches of fabric. And the pockets are in the side seams, again emphasizing those very simple plain lines. But then that lovely movement of those pleats in the front. This is the long length, the longest length that we're doing, and it's 36 inches long, measured from the waist. Now, for me, measuring from my waist to the floor is about 42 inches. So I prefer this length. I love that long length. So that's about 6 inches off the floor. So depending on what your waist to floor measurement is, if you like this kind of long look, then go on your measurements, go from waist to floor, deduct 5 to 6 inches, and then see which length of striders are best for you. These are the long ones in 36 inches. The medium regular length is 32 inches, and then the shortest length is 28 inches. So we go up by 4 inches or 10 centimeters at a time, just like we do with the length of the dresses, for example, and the play suits. They go in increments of 4 inches, and so do these. So starting this in that natural undyed colorway, of course, lovely and neutral for summer, and worn with a white top to offset that lovely stone neutral color. And in a size 1 love tunic. You can see that despite the length of the tunic, there's still plenty of striders left, so you don't get an effect of it being all too blocky. But if you prefer not to have quite as much top, then of course you could go for a love top rather than a love tunic. And I think I've got one of those lined up further along in this program. So let me move on to the next outfit, showing you one of the vests, one of the cocoon vests in the grey color, because that is very close to undyed linen. So they make a lovely outfit together as well. You'll see. A vest, a cocoon vest in the grey color in size 2, nice and roomy, not clingy. I could go down to a size 1 that have this more fitted, and you get a little bit more curvy, but I really like the looseness of this A-line above the looseness of the A-line of the Striders. Those two pyramids on top of each other, I think, look fantastic together. Similar length, of course, as the tunic that I just showed you. And of course, I can layer on top of this. Let's bring in one more garment, despite the heat. Great example of an extra layer that is still airy, still loose, but somehow makes the whole outfit a bit more dressy. Of course, I can still easily get to my pockets, and I haven't added a sleeve, but what I have added is just that little bit of arm coverage. So if it's warm, you don't want to overdress, but you're going to an event and you don't want to cover up, but you just want to look a little bit more dressy, then having a long synergy duster like this, the sleeveless duster, adds this beautiful extra flare and a little bit of extra cover for your shoulders, for example, and a lot of extra style. So going to move back to a bit more of a more everyday look, a particular fabric that I also really like in combination with the natural undyed linen. We have a small amount of it left, so let me just show it to you. Blue stripe, cross woven with the natural undyed linen, so of course they've got that color in common, and it introduces an extra color without looking too overbearing in combination with that very neutral light colored pair of striders. Again, this is another love tunic because that's all I have in this particular fabric, but we do have a bit of fabric left, so if you like this, then give me a shout or just place your order, and in the choices of colors, put the blue stripe in. You can find it on the midweight linen, in the midweight linen color library. Blue stripe it's called. If you have difficulty finding it or you would like some advice about it, of course give me a shout. Right, I'm going to move on to the next color of striders that I want to show you, but most importantly the next length, because I'm going to go up a length to the regular length, so the 32-inch length on me. Here it is, the medium length, the regular length on me, again in a size large. I forgot to say that all the striders that I'm showing you are the size large, and you can see how roomy they are. They are not meant to be a fitted trouser. It is supposed to be nice and roomy and open to wear around your hips and just have that flare in the legs as well as you move around. So that does not mean that the small wouldn't fit me. Yes, it would, but it's not meant to be worn that way. It really is meant to be worn loose and oversized. So this is the medium length, the regular length, and as you can see, that's still kind of mid-calf on me. That's because, like I said, they're meant to be worn long, that's 7/8 kind of length, but you can play with that, and depending on your height as well, of course, it gives you an idea what happens to the proportions if you're wearing that shorter length with or without more leg underneath, and then in combination with the love tunic that I'm wearing here. Let's move on to a different top with these lovely trousers. Great example of how you can play with proportions by varying the length and the width of your top. This is a small step top, size small, and of course it's got that boxy length at the front and boxy shape, and then that long panel at the back. So you still have that kind of elegant feel about it, but it looks a bit more funky and a bit more boxy, and very, very different proportions in combination with the striders in the front. So the shorter striders, because I now have a shorter top as well, I can see a bit more of the trousers again. So you'd see what I mean in terms of proportions with that shorter top as opposed to the longer top in the love tunic. So I'll give you another example of, again, slightly shorter in the front, and staying with that same lovely kind of watery theme that we've got going. This is teal sky, and this is sweet pea, and next up is teal wash. Another great example of proportions and of how with very simple garments you can make these outfits really shine. As you can see here, all I'm wearing underneath this is the bralette that I've got on, and of course with a little peep of that showing, not really a problem. It almost looks like a vest underneath, so that's fine. Just wearing the short duster closed with the ties is a good example of how you can wear a short duster with ties like a top. and the longer ones of course look a little bit more jacket-like, but this just looks like a nice airy top like this, lovely for in the warm weather. And it really shows off because of that shorter length in the front. It shows off these wonderful inverted pleats that the Striders have. Then we go back to a very simple silhouette with the sweep of the hemline in the back and the very simple flared shape of the Striders going down. So really nice color combination as well. Oh, before I forget, everything except for the Striders that you are seeing are all garments that are on the ready-to-ship rails that I've just grabbed from the ready-to-ship rails. So if you see anything you like, you should be able to find it online. If you can't find it online, again, give me a shout. But they're already ready for immediate shipment. And of course, if you like this idea but in a different color, then the made-to-order service is still running at least for the next month. So get at it, get with it if you want to, because the curtains will close by the end of August, if not before. We'll see. Let's keep going. Next color of Striders. Royalty Stripe. That same medium length again. And Royalty Stripe, of course, purple and teal in a stripe, very subtle. You can see the stripes from up close, but from a distance, it looks like a rich, almost navy color. And that's what I wanted to show you in contrast with the teal wash of this short duster, to go for a slightly darker blue and show you how that looks. They don't have to be as close. You can go for bigger contrasts if you like. I'm going to show this with one more little top, and then we're moving out of the blues. Because I was describing the Royalty Stripe as almost a navy, I wanted to show it next to the blue crossweave, and I've got a size 1, which is kind of on the cusp of being too small for me, mini tabard in the blue crossweave. So that shows you that the blue crossweave achieves a sense of navy color by coming with a royal blue and then a black, whereas the Striders that I'm wearing in that Royalty Stripe has got teal and purple in it. So it comes towards a navy completely from a different angle, and you can see the difference between the two in the two garments next to each other. So from a distance, this is more of a muted inky blue, navy blue, and this is slightly brighter. So if I were to wear this outfit, I would probably go for a size 2 mini tabard to have it nice and loose, and wear it with a bodysuit underneath, so that I could move freely and not be bothered by the low armholes in it and everything. But as an outfit, as a combination, they go really well together. The Striders, I mean, with a mini tabard. Let's move on to a different color top altogether. As promised, the different proportions of a shorter top. Love top as opposed to love tunic before. It still covers that little panel from the waist down of the Striders, and then beautifully shows off the inverted pleats. Of course, then in the back nicely covers my hips, and then we've back to that very simple shape and very simple lines. Perfect access to my pockets, and of course a contrasting color. This is magenta, the brightest pink of the bunch, I reckon. Mind you, pink is probably brighter because this has got a touch of raspberry in it, of course, but our pink, which we also still have some stock of, is the brightest. So if you really want to go for the Brighton rock kind of pink, then that's the color for you. This is slightly darker, slightly more muted, and with a little bit of raspberry mixed in, like I said, magenta. Let's move on to a top that also looks pink from a distance, but a very different pink indeed. A size 1 cap top in raspberry blush, and the name says it, raspberry cross woven with blush, it gives a pink color that has got a lot of variation in depth when you look up close because of the contrast of the two colors, but looks like a softer, more muted pink and in more of a slightly salmony direction than the magenta that I just showed you. And of course the long line is back again here because it's a tunic rather than a top. So let me team this again with a longer pair of striders. Back in the long length striders, this time in Loganberry, to show you how Loganberry looks in combination with raspberry blush. The muted and warmer color of the Loganberry makes the raspberry blush look really fresh and very spring-like. It's a lovely combination together. And we're back with those different proportions with the longer trousers and the longer top. Let's keep going. I'm going to add a smock to this to show you how a smock looks in combination with striders. I kept the cap tunic on in the raspberry blush and just added a size 2 smock in the same Loganberry color. And look how beautiful they look together. Same color smock as striders, and striders and smock, really nice combination. I'm going to keep going with a couple of other garments from the collection of what I at least have left here to show you how those different garments look in silhouette with the striders. Sticking with the longer length, but a couple of more different garments of layer cakes on top. Pop over shirt, size 1 in white, sleeves rolled up. Simple shapes, simple shirt, simple striders, great outfit. Lovely for the warm weather because it's all kind of loose, nothing sticks to you, and of course I can wear the sleeves down if I so wish, or I could roll them up further. They've got the really nice wide cuffs so you never see any edges of seams or whatever. It's all nicely hidden when you start rolling it up. And of course these little side splits give me very easy access to the pockets of the trousers. Right, another garment to show with striders is the easy dress. An easy dress in papaya, size large, super comfortable. Just throw it on and you're ready. If you like, you can just wear it by itself. Of course, it's about knee length or slightly below knee length for many of you. But if you don't like having your legs out, then of course a pair of striders are very warmth friendly solution because of their looseness and their airiness. So papaya in combination with Loganberry, lovely color combination. But can we make it any brighter? Oh yes, we can. If, like me, you love sunflowers, the color sunflowers, as well as the flowers themselves, but the color, the linen sunflowers color, if you love it like I do, but unlike me, you don't feel confident or know that it doesn't look good right next to you, for example, with the tulip dress there, and you think, yeah, I could never get away with wearing that, then consider colors like that as a bottom part of your outfit. So with the striders in this color, I can wear any kind of color above that, so that whatever color I wear around my face, I know that it's a color that it suits me, but I can still wear my lovely sunflowers. Let me show you different colors to combine with the sunflower striders. And also, just to draw your attention to it, the effect of papaya and sunflowers next to each other works really well, because of course papaya is magenta with chartreuse, and the chartreuse, because of the impact of the magenta, looks more like a yellow when you hold it next to a color like sunflowers, which really does have yellow in it. So it yellows the chartreuse in papaya, and as a result they look beautiful together. When you see them next to each other, you think, oh, they have a color in common. They don't, but it looks like they do. All right, let's move on to a different color. This is a cocoon love top, stretchy organic cotton love top in Sangria size 1. Like, as you can see, it just covers that little panel at the top, and then I've got my beautiful pleats coming out. But I specifically wanted to show you one of the shorter tops in combination with one of the longer length striders, and show you how that impacts the whole silhouette. As you can see, goes beautiful together as well. And going in the red direction is one thing, but of course we can bring lots of other colors in as well to combine with sunflowers. Let's show you another one. A size 2 smock in magpie and sunflowers. Oh gee, I wish I could show this to you in real life, because those are an example of two colors that really lift each other up, because the magpie looks even more broody and intense when you hold it next to a color like sunflowers, and the sunflowers they just look jubilant next to magpie. They really intensify each other. But then worn with a completely different color top like the sangria, as you can see, it just, you know, 3 completely different colors together, but because the styles are so well matched, it just looks like a wonderful outfit. This is back to the almost being able to grab blind from your Layercake wardrobe, throw it on together and go like, oh, actually, that looks quite good. I wasn't expecting that. So this is why I always say play with your outfits, put unexpected combinations together and enjoy the result and show it off to the world, because you'll get compliments. One more garment added just to drive the point home. Different color again. This is chartreuse, a short duster with ties, so I can close this up. And I've got all those different colors really complementing each other and looking fantastic with each other. And of course, this is a good example of when the temperature starts dropping. You know, with these 4 garments, you really have a number of different outfits. You can wear the duster just with the striders when it's really warm. You could wear the, leave the love top off and have the, just the smock and the striders and then the duster over the top. You can of course wear the love top with the dusters and then add the the love top with the striders and then add the duster on top without the smock in between. So you've got a number of different outfits there with those 4 garments that you can build towards a cooler and warmer days. So I'm going to take some of these off and put one more outfit together that is layered but summery at the same time. I thought I'll start with the duster closed, so that you can see the kind of layering that I wanted to show off. I'm wearing one of the cocoon vests in the silver color, the lightest color that we have. It's just this very pale silvery gray. And then with my short chartreuse duster over the top closed, so you can see that layer peeping out in the front, but not in the back, because of course the duster sweeps down in the back. So, and then of course, still with my sunflower striders on. If I then open the duster, you see a little bit more of the vest, of course. And here we have just a lovely summery outfit. Now, the other thing to draw your attention to is, as I look at the girls, not draw attention to those, but what's covering them, because I'm wearing a size 1 vest now. So before, at the beginning, when I was wearing a size 2 vest, that looseness and that positive ease in the fabric has now been replaced with a size 1, and that has a little bit of negative ease around the bust. What I mean with that is it has to stretch just a little bit to fit around me. So then you have that very fitted silhouette, and then again with that A-line it kind of flares out. So just a bit more fitted at the top of my back and around my shoulders. and then flaring out further down. So this is the size 1 slightly tighter on me, or the size 2 slightly looser. And that really goes for all of the cocoons. You can wear them more fitted and stretch them around you a bit, or wear them more loose and more flowy. So, summer outfit ready. Wearing a wonderful color, but away from my face if I'm not comfortable wearing it right next to my face. Of course, this could be a very different color duster. I could go back to that a teal wash, for example, or think of a short duster, but then in magpie duster over the top of these lovely sunflower striders. Well, the possibilities are endless, as you know. I hope I have inspired you. Please be aware that the amount of making time that we have, of course, is limited with my move to France looming. So the sooner you can put your orders in for any wishes that you've got left, as long as we're trading, the better. Any questions, shoot them to me, and I hope I'll see you again soon.